The place where he got hurt with the blood thing?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I started laughing. All I could picture was Richard asking her, is it going to sting?
Is that gonna hurt? Fuck you, is that gonna hurt? You're not putting shit on me. You mean much the way I deal with shit when I am hurt? Is that what you're imagining? Yeah, okay. I fully understand why you're laughing now. So Verna tells him that he would have died by the nighttime if she didn't heal him. And she had to wait the right amount of time for the cure to work. She puts an X on the bug bites like you would with a mosquito bite, but like way more intense because she's cutting the fuck out of his skin.
Yeah, normally you just use your fingernail. You don't actually like slice it open.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Who does that?
Her.
Well, okay, yep. I asked it. You answered. That's fair.
I actually thought it was kind of funny because Richard was like, hold on, were you gonna fucking let me die? Were you considering it if I was enough of an asshole? Like, what were you doing? Why'd you wait this long to cure me? And that's when she explains to him, like, no, I couldn't have done it too early. I couldn't have done it too late. And it was just funny to me that he was like, whoa, hold on, lady. Are you being an asshole now?
Yeah, well, the thought crossed his mind at the very least. Like, whoa. You're telling me that I screwed up really bad. So is this like the punishment for that? Or is it just going to sting?
Right. Right. And do you know, Nate, what helps me when something stings?
Neosporin?
No.
Band-Aids. Right?
No.
Damn. Beer? Okay, yeah.
It's beer.
Well, yeah.
It's time for the beer break.
Use it for an ice pack, too.
Yeah, you can use it for so many things. And actually, this one that we're drinking right now is like real good.
Yeah?
Yeah. Real useful.
I haven't had any yet.
That's a shame.
That's very good.
Hell yeah, it is. And tonight we are drinking peach tea beer from Wild Ohio Brewing. It is 8% alcohol, and it is amazing. It's also gluten-free, so if that's a thing that you need, here you go. It is delicious, and I love it a lot.
It's really, really good. It's very sweet, so I know people exist that say things like, oh, it's too sweet for me. I'm not one of those people, so this is right up my alley.
Yep.
Very, very good. So we have more of these, or? Okay, good. I'm going to get one more then. We'll be back right after this.
And we're back. So Verna continues to lecture him about how he was being reckless, and Richard again is like, dude, we would have fucking died. And she just won't give up on this, like, you did the wrong thing at the right time. And she doesn't elaborate anymore. She's just like, it was wrong magic. I don't know what kind of magic it was. I don't know what you did, but it was wrong. I have no other answers.
Like, she was helping at all. Richard points this out, and he immediately apologizes because it was one of those, oh, fuck you, what were you doing moments. And Verna immediately, like, shuts down.
He apologized for no fucking reason. She deserved that shit.
I mean, yeah, the lecture was incessant. I don't know what more she was planning on drilling into Richard's head. Like, okay, I get it. I screwed up, but we survived. And, like, what more do you need?
Right. And, like, literally, like he said, you were doing fucking nothing. You, like, not now and not then did you give me any sort of indication of what I should have done. So I did what I had to do. Fuck off.
Right. Like I said before, if Richard had followed her, they would have both died because he would have probably been trapped in some vision of some kind then too.
Yeah. So I am like, I get that he was trying to smooth things over, but that bitch did not deserve an apology. And I'm a little upset with him for giving her one, because you don't give apologies to people like that, guys. You don't. But after he does, she tells him that learning how to control the magic was going to be the easy part. It's which kind, when, how much, what if all that shit is going to be the hard part? Without knowing all of this stuff that she's apparently going to teach him, he's like a blind man swinging an axe at a crowd of children.
Literally, like, gun safety.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. It is not hard to figure out how to use a gun, but if you don't know how to use a gun, it becomes real fucking dangerous real fast.
Yeah, just whipping that shit around.
Yeah, like, obviously, the consequences are pretty obvious of what goes wrong when you can't handle it, but at the same time, you don't have to be trained in military operations to, like, just say, the classic example, right? Somebody comes into your home with intent to harm, and you shoot them. And that doesn't take a whole lot of training, but you did something. Like, you acted in the moment. You had to. Otherwise, you were going to die. Same thing.
Right, right.
Yeah, there's probably 10 other things you could have done, but you did the thing that you could do in the moment because of what you had. And, I mean, there's not much more to be spoken for it.
Right, and I mean, granted, after training, you're probably going to be better at that, at determining when you should do it, and that's probably why training is better, but, I mean, nobody can fault you for defending yourself in the moment.
Exactly.
But Verna finally fucking admits that she should be angry at herself, if at anybody, for being tempted, and thanks Richard for saving her. You know, maybe lead with that shit next time.
Yeah, that would have been real nice.
She tells him nobody has ever been able to get anyone out of those spells. And Richard thinks it was just magic of, like, the sword. He's like, it was just the anger of the sword, man. It's not a big deal. Calm down. All I had to do was walk through the sparkle wall. Come on.
The sparkle wall. The way he brings it up to her, it's so, like, it wasn't a big deal. It was just a big sparkly wall. All of this shit going on around Richard is new to him. So it's all the same level of, I don't know if you'd say intensity, but to him, all this crazy magic stuff happening, it has to be all the same. So walking through a magic sparkle wall when there's like a magic storm and lightning trying to assassinate you is not the most amazing thing he did that day.
No.
But it blows Verna's mind because that's not a thing people can do. That never occurred to him. He doesn't know that.
She's like, yeah, we fucking know. We can't walk through the sparkle wall, Richard. We've tried.
And there again, she's chewing him out for using his Han and doing some shit that they're not, capable of doing. And at the same time, chewing him out for doing that.
It was also interesting, though, that nobody's ever been able to do this before. Nobody's ever had the sword when they've done it before. And Richard's trying to say, hey, it might be the sword. And she's like, nope, couldn't be that. It's got to be something with your other magical Han. Even though that could be a perfectly plausible explanation. Nope, something else is weird about you.
The thing you have been trying to teach him to do for all this time, he just does it, and in a really big way, and it's a problem the first time. She thinks.
Yeah. Thank you. He tells her that getting her out of the sparkle wall and the spell that she was in is the least he could do for pretending to kill her in the tower. He just, lets that fall out. The thing that we had all decided last chapter we were going to keep to ourselves.
We're going to take a shot and never speak of it again?
Yeah, exactly.
Oops.
She starts to chew him out again for even going into the fucking tower. Not about the whole killing her thing. She doesn't care about that. She's just like, hey, I told you don't go in those things. And he's like, hey, again, I was gonna die. Calm down.
Yeah, I mean, what do you really expect me to do?
Yeah, he's like, I had to dive in there to save my life. And she goes on about how he's a child, not listening to instruction, and that's when he tells her everything that happened in the tower. He's like, that's exactly what the fuck you said then. Then you proceeded to torture me with the collar. Is that what's going to happen? Can you do that? And she tells him, yeah, it is true. But once he gets to the part of the vision where he cuts her in half, she's like, nope, that's false. Nope, can't happen.
She's trying to train him like a child. Okay. Kids, stop listening to the podcast now. Parents tell their kids there's Santa Claus every day. And children believe that just because your parent told you that. Verna is telling Richard things the same way. Like, nope, that won't work. It's impossible. And the only basis Richard has is Verna's word, which, not very solid, according to literally every other thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think you're full of shit.
Exactly. But he's not going to dwell on that. He's just going to keep the conversation moving because he's got other shit he wants to talk to her about.
I mean, it's not a bad thing to just keep in your pocket for a later time.
Right.
Like, you know what? Maybe she's bluffing about that. Maybe I'll find out.
He tells her he was happy when he saw her the next time because he was going to fulfill his promise that he was going to get her through that fucking valley, whether she wanted him to or not. That's why he argued with her so hard in the valley. And she tells him that all of this is him invoking prophecy without meaning to.
Yeah, when he broke the horse's bits, it was to unknowingly aid himself in keeping the promise to get her to safety later, so she couldn't steer the horses. See, it's all related. And Richard is like, dude, that's a fucking stretch, man. It's literally like being a magician without knowing that you're about to do a magic trick.
It also sounded like tying your shoe so you don't trip later. Like, it just,
But tying it without realizing you're tying it.
Yes.
Like you did it while you were still sleeping.
Yes. He's like, no, man, I was just like trying to help the horses out. You're being fucking weird.
Yeah, I'm just not an asshole to my animals, so this was the natural next step. I mean, but for Verna, for real, Evel Knievel couldn't have made that jump, dude. That's far.
Yeah. Right, so Richard asks her about the book that she keeps and the prelate and explains that he read the book after he killed her in the tower. Because, it wasn't yours anymore, you were dead. It's okay, don't worry about it.
Well, and also, like, he had time.
Yeah, he was just chilling in there for a while. He probably took a nap, too.
After I commit a murder, I really like to sit down and read, just kind of center my thoughts, sit in the quiet.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. Verna says it was all part of the vision. Don't fucking worry about it. No big deal. It's just, the vision knew I had a book. It's whatever it said. It's disregard. Okay? Disregard. Once Richard tells her, though, what was written in it, she gets upset, which makes it obvious it was real. Also, she went into way, way, way more specific detail about this book before he told her about it than she had to. He was like, oh, is your book full? And she's like, no, there's only 2 pages. You didn't have to tell him that. You could have just been like, none of your fucking business what's in my diary.
Right. It was bizarre that... So then Richard tells her what is written in her diary. And it's not a diary. It's not a diary. It's a journey book. She tells him that it's none of his business, and Richard fucking rails into her about, like, none of my business. You dragged me here. And she tries to turn it around a little bit and say, well, you put the collar on voluntarily. Don't forget about that. I didn't put it on you and drag you out here. You came of your own volition, which, not true. For one, but none of my business. Everything you've written in there is about me, is about what's going to happen to me. That's my business.
Right, exactly. And obviously, it was the fucking truth, which means that apparently, according to Verna, the only thing that wasn't true that happened in the tower is the fact that he could kill her to get away. So that's interesting.
Like I said, back pocket. You never know.
So Richard decides he's going to let this conversation drop. And he has one more question for her about timeline shit. He's like, hey, if you spent 20 years looking for me, you must have left well before you knew if I was alive. Otherwise, you would have known I was older. Duh. Because I obviously wouldn't have been 10 years old if you knew I was born before you left. And she admits they had no idea when he was going to be born, just that prophecy spoke of him and said it was going to fucking happen.
Right, and he knows this to be true because he knows he has been named in prophecy. He's been told that a couple of times now.
Absolutely, yeah. Which he hates.
Yeah, not a fucking fan.
Verna also tells him that the prelate chooses who will go and would not have anybody refusing. Nobody would ever have been gone more than a year to get a gifted one, and they know getting Richard was going to take decades. So, like, Once you were named